Welcome back to Beyond the Numbers. I'm Bev Wakefield, and this is the podcast where we break down the numbers in a way that actually makes sense and help you build a business that supports your life and not the other way around. In this bonus episode of the podcast, we're moving from the bar back to the shed over at Electric Daisy for the first Vibrant Supper Club. We've got great food and 4 inspiring leaders sharing the challenges they've faced and the future they're building. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. The first of Vibrant Supper Club. So this came to fruition because I've been to a many Electric Daisy event. I'm quite passionate about what they do here. I've also had the joy of coming to a couple of feed events which are hosted here and catered by Cherry Pickle with Holly, and they are sensational. And I was here the last time and I was like, we've got to do something like this. Like, business networking tends to be kind of a drink. Why is it not something where we're really bringing community together and connection over amazing food? And I love being outside. I know it's freezing now, but I love being outside and there's something beautiful about it. So tonight's about slowing down, it's about reflecting, and it's about reconnecting. And I've got an incredible panel of guests. 2 of them had the flu, but I've got 2 equally incredible guests that have replaced. So we'll go through the night and you can guess who's been swapped around. So the questions I'm asking tonight are: what's one thing you've learned or reflected on this year? And what's one piece of advice, story, or inspiration you'd like to leave others with as we go into the new year? Now, another reason for doing the podcast and doing these networking events is sometimes we don't always talk about the lows of business or even in anything. And it's actually bringing a framework for us to be able to come together and chat and be honest and be vulnerable and talk about the things that we don't always talk about. So, Shaz, did you want to come up first? For those of you who don't know the incredible Sherry Pridham, you could sit there opposite me if you don't mind. So you got up really quick. I usually do the intros as we walk in. So she is an absolute true trailblazer, someone who has shattered ceilings that were never designed to let her through. On to my next page. You're the first woman ever to manage a men's World Tour cycling team. She has led at the highest levels of professional sport, competing against and outperforming teams with far bigger budgets and deeper histories. Sherry's story is about resilience, leadership under pressure, and what it means to step into rooms when you're the only one like you and still lead with strength, clarity, and grace. Her perspective on high performance, team culture, and belief is something every business leader needs to have. Here, welcome.
Thank you.
Did you want to explain where you are first now before we delve into those questions?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the main reasons I'm sat here is because of Dean Jackson, actually.
No.
It was Dino that got me into running and owning a team. And he gave me, I'll tell the whole story, Dino. I was still competing and I needed a bike sponsor. And I found American Bicycle Group. And I called the number. It was about 4:30 in the evening and Dino happened to pick the phone up. And he said, yeah, I'll meet you in Starbucks. And I said, yeah, but I'm in Derby. He said, well, so am I. So we met in Starbucks and I came out of Starbucks with a £5,000, I think it was £5,000 check, no? And that's how we started and created our first junior boys team, and it just grew from there. But it's thanks to Dino that I'm doing what I'm doing now, and of course my partner Eddie. I sort of shotgun him. He was an old school team manager, and I sat with him in the team car and learnt the trade, so to speak. But of course, in those days, there was not much sight for running junior women's teams, or even, I think I was probably competing, and there was maybe 20 females competing at an event. But now it's tenfold, exponentially huge women's cycling. So looking at that back at probably 30 years ago from when we started with a junior team to where we are now is just it's two different worlds completely.
And how have you managed through that? Because that's crazy, isn't it? Being one of the 20 then.
I don't.
Or did you never see it?
No, I don't. I've never seen myself as I guess as a trailblazer. I that's what people tell me. But I've just been a girl with an ambition of being the best I can be at whatever it is I was destined to be, and I happened to fall into managing and owning a team, which grew then as the first female continental manager in Europe at the time, and then of course we all know about Brexit and COVID and everything else, and that was the turning point for me. And it was after a couple of bottles of wine that we decided to I decided to write to men's Will Tour teams. I got nothing to lose at the time, and 2 bottles of wine later and 5 emails, and I thought, well, let's go for it. I had a response from 3 Will Tour teams, and the next thing I knew, in December 2021, I signed for the first Will Tour men's team as a sports director in the Will Tour, and here I am. But I've gone through sort of 360, and I'm now leading. I'm a team manager now for UAE Team ADQ, and we are striving to be the best women's team in the world.
Nice. So you're almost passing that kind of whole, I just want to be the best person that I can be.
Yeah.
Onto the team now at UAE.
That's it, yeah.
Oh, it's incredible. And I didn't realise the story or the connection when I asked you both to speak today. I knew you probably knew each other from cycling.
Yeah, no, I think it goes back a long way. We can sit together, we not see each other for 2 years, and we can pick up as if it was yesterday. I always count on Dino as somebody that I can take advice from. When I was coming through the ranks, he was always there supporting, and very much supportive within the Derby scene as well. So that's been, something that I guess we never forget. It's thanks Dino for that.
Oh, and exactly that, because we need that level of support. We need people around us, don't we? We need that kind of support mechanism, and to have people like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me it's more having a soundboard, having the reassurance from somebody that I know I can trust. So, and I've always had that kind of reflection where I've maybe been too open to certain people, and then you get taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. But it's always nice to fall back to a close circle of friends, so I always know that I can pick the phone up to Dino, even if it's after 3-5 years or whatever, so.
Or 2 bottles of wine.
Yeah, or 2 bottles of wine, yeah.
I love that. In terms of the questions today then, what's one thing you've learnt or reflected on this year?
It's a good question. So at UAE Team ADQ, we've had a lot of structural changes, management changes. One thing I've taken away from, so I manage 30 riders and upwards of 70 staff members, so around 100 people. And what I've seen and learned is how to manage internal egos, and egos in the sense that even I have an ego, but it's learning to manage that and process. And the one thing I took away is to stick to my guns, stick to the plan. Always believe that you have a plan and a strategy in your head in terms of managing a big team like UAE Team ADQ, and don't deviate. Trust the people around you that give you the insight. And don't try to be influenced by too many people.
And that's hard, isn't it?
It is. Especially when, I thought it would be easy stepping into a women's team, being a woman, and the difference is huge between coming from 20 years working with men's teams and high-level professionals. Caleb Ewan, Andre Greipel, all the best sprinters in the world, and managing leaders like that. And then stepping into the Women's World Tour, where you have big leaders like we do. But understanding how to manage a female is something quite special. They cry a lot. They cry at everything. They cry when they crash. They cry when they win. They cry when they don't get their own way. They cry when they have an argument with the boyfriend or the partner or whatever it is. And that was the biggest shock for me, is seeing how being a woman in a woman's team is significantly different to managing, but the expectations are just as high, and the performance expectation is huge, especially with how women's cycling is growing.
Sure.
Now you're dealing with 16, 17-year-olds that are potentially earning 100,000 a year. It's not like football, of course, but the expectations of somebody so young to have so much salary expectation, and what comes with that expectation is performance. And then you can talk about the performance level in terms of menstruation, because there's not a lot of support for women or research in this, and how that affects the hormones, affects the performance. So that's growing. That's been super interesting.
It's been a whole different world then. So
Yeah,
working
definitely.
with men,
Yeah.
possibly easier.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say that? Lots of men here today.
Yeah, working with the men, you finish a stage in the Tour de France, and maybe the stage hasn't gone according to plan, and then you have to deal with a male.
Sure.
But
Different
the male,
challenges.
It is, and you walk onto the team bus and you have to do a team brief. And of course they stark naked and doing their thing and showering and everything, and and you have to just confront them, and that's the way they like it. They step out the team bus, and then we move on to the next day. With a woman, you do the debrief, and maybe it drags on into the next day a little bit, and you have to do a debrief before you do the next presentation to make sure that the performance from yesterday hasn't affected the performance of today. So it's just a different mindset with a woman.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So if going into this next year, because I can't believe we're nearly into the new year now, what's one piece of advice, a story or inspiration you'd like everyone to leave today and take into the new year?
That anything is possible. Just believe in your dreams, and never take anything for granted. Is what I say. If don't be in doubt. You come into this world naked and you leave this world naked. So it's just keep pushing in business, in sport, in your personal life. You have ups and downs, but you just got to keep believing that anything is possible.
One life. Got to live it.
One life, live it.
Yeah, I love that. Dean, did you want to come and join Shez as well? And then I'll do the introduction as well, because I feel like we've done a full circle moment, and it feels rude not to bring you in and actually go, is there any other stories that we should be discussing right now?
There we go.
Hello.
Hey up.
You all right?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Sherry. Very nice words.
Yeah. Can you remember that phone call then?
Oh God, yeah. I was upstairs in Swindon. What a hole that is. And I had to travel there like 3 times a week. And I remember the phone call. And can I talk about your humble beginnings in Derby?
You can, yeah.
So we all knew Sherry as this amazing cyclist, and where the hell has she come from? And she'd go out on the chain gangs and go out with the guys, and it's like, she shouldn't be here. She's a bit strong, is this one? And we all knew Sherry because she was living at the YMCA. So Sherry's gone from the YMCA in Derby, being one of the most tenacious people I've ever met in my life, to working for UAE. It's a wonderful story, and I think that it's a massive lesson in itself, that if you believe in what you're doing and you have the grit that Sherry has, you're going to succeed. I mean, she mentioned the Tour de France Femmes that she's ridden and everything else that goes with it. Should be Saint Sherry for me.
I mean, she's incredible, and I don't think she realises that.
No, not at all.
I have the privilege of working with Shez, and she's the most unassuming
superhero.
Yeah, you are. Sorry, do you want me to let you go and sit back down now? Do you want any more words?
No, I think that's one thing I do struggle with, actually, is imposter syndrome. winning 2 stages in the Tour de France with the team this year. I sit in the car after we had 2 extraordinary victories in the Tour de France, and I'm thinking, how did I do that? How did we win the Giro d'Italia? You think. Yeah. So it's super strange, but I think one of my complexes is my own confidence.
Well, I could imagine, like the rest of us, we have imposter syndrome creeps in, but it's what drives you, right? You'll have those nights where you wake up at 3:30 and go, "Oh, am I really good enough for this?" So you don't have to try hard the next day, and the next day, and the next day.
No, definitely. I wake up at 3:00 a lot, especially in the last month or two, because my brief from Europe, from UAE, is to be the best team in the world and to make a strategy and be responsible for 30 riders' programs. Is you wake up at 3:00 and wonder what the hell you're doing.
So we might have visions of being the best in Derby or the best in the UK or in our lane. You have you're tasked with being the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a North
Pretty
Star.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Can anyone else put their hands up if they've had the 3:30 a.m. wake-ups where you've been worried about business? I think it's just that reminder, isn't it, that this is real. Like, this is, we all have this. I think we forget to talk about it sometimes, don't we? That we all, who's had imposter syndrome? Yeah, like, oh my God, these are so real things that we don't sometimes sit back and go, we do face it. And I know we talk about it more now than we've ever talked about it, isn't it? Like, social media is starting to talk about vulnerability and everything like that. But it's still the authentic piece of this, isn't it?
No, one thing as well is the difference between the men's World Tour and the women's World Tour is the mentality that's still growing within the organisations. So I've come across staff members, for instance, in UAE Team ADQ the last 2-3 years. All they've known is to be working with women, but they don't want to necessarily open up to advice or direction, and that's probably been the hardest, is try to convince staff members of, we've done it this way for the last 2 years and we're not going to change the way, But if you want to be the best, you have to learn, the train is in the station and you need to get on it quickly. And that's with anything in business. I think if you see an opportunity, you have to grab it.
Oh.
I think I'd say no. I know a bit about the cycle world because I've worked in it, and it's very incestuous, isn't it? And it's very old boys. So if you talk about a train leaving the station, they're all in first class, and you're on one of those pump things on the back trying to catch it up. But you didn't give up, and the place you've earned, it really should be on a pedestal much higher than it is, really.
We'll wait for is it an OBE then? Better be coming.
Go on, Sheza.
Might be busy that day. No, you.
Yeah, but I know O's better. You can get the O. Go on.
Oh, sorry, knocking the mics over. Thank you. Did you want to share anything else before you take a nice warm seat by the fire?
No, just to say thank you to you, Bev, for keeping my cash in order.
I love that. I've got that.
Otherwise, she'd
that's
spend
on video
it
as well now, isn't it?
But no, I'm sort of really grateful for the support that I've had locally here in Derby, and I know that there's people here that have got my back, and I can go and do without needing to think about what I need to do.
For sure. Oh, thank you ever so much. Can we have a hand for Shez? Sherry, sorry. Too familiar. So, Dean, I don't think you need an introduction, and I've probably introduced you a few, but I've done another one for today.
Sorry, me again.
No, don't be sorry. He's a Derby legend, isn't it? And I don't say that lightly. You're not just the founder of Hoob, and Shez has alluded to this as well. So it's not only the world-renowned sport innovation brand that you've created, but it's also the ethos that you help bring to Derby in terms of being that support mechanism for people, someone that we can all look to kind of go, you know what, he's going to tell me the truth, he's going to be real, he's going to be and also it's just that you've just got grit, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think sometimes that honesty may work against me at times. But it kind of cuts through some of the bollocks, doesn't it?
I put that. You're known for your honesty, humour, swearing. No, I didn't put that in.
Yeah.
And being the first to tell you that success is messy.
Yeah, it is messy, and we all wish for success, don't we, in our businesses and certainly in our personal lives and for our family. But it's no easy path, is it? And they talk about, the winding road and everything else that goes with it. And there's times you think you have more down days, don't you, than up days, and more 3:30s in the morning than you do 8 a.m.s. But I think there's an immense satisfaction, isn't there, when it does go right?
Oh gosh, isn't there? Yeah, if you looked at the roller coaster ride, how many peaks are there, and how many kind of loop-the-loops and
well, on a roller coaster ride, you have one massive thrill, and then the rest of it's boring, isn't it? You go, I just don't want to get off now. I've done the big drop.
Which part do you enjoy most?
Well, yeah, I like the build-up.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but the journey of getting near the top is because you're on the buzz and you're on the edge. And then when you do let it go down, you go, that was over a bit quick. I've got to go and do it again. Well, that's like your financial budgets, isn't it?
Oh.
Every year, here we go.
But that's, you know what, you really said something there that made me think, is that the case for a lot of business owners as well? Because we tend to be quite innovative, entrepreneurial, that kind of side where we're driving for something. Do you sometimes lose that side? So you're excited as you've got the progression up.
Yeah.
But actually, when things are going well or steady or plateaued, what does that do to you?
Well, I think my FD knows that when it plateaus, I go off chasing things and shiny things and trying to come up with new stuff, which he does try and rein in.
Yeah.
But you also need that. And I don't know if you use any management system. We're a team of 15, which is quite a small team for an 8 million turnover. And we've just put in a new management system in. It's called EOS. I don't know if you've heard it, Entrepreneurial Operating System. And it actually, for the first time, defined my role. That was a dreamer. I'm the visionary in the business. And then I have an integrator that does absolutely everything and gets things done. But that's allowed me to go off and do the dreaming, the chasing, and figuring things out in the wind tunnel or in the swimming flume. But you feel that's not work. Because you feel work should be the numbers coming in, the margins in, and chasing it every single day. But I've come to realise that by having that separation, a system that works and is proven globally, actually that's where I live, and I should feel content with that. So I should be allowed to go and chase shiny things. I'm the magpie.
And I'm assuming that's the stuff that gives you energy. That's the stuff that lights you up. That's the stuff that makes life worth living in a way.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, there's nothing better than nipping around Sherry's house and going through all her Oakleys and looking at all the sexy.
We talked about those today already.
All the sexy kit and innovation. I absolutely look. I've just come back from a show in Germany, and we're challenging the rubber manufacturers to come up with new rubbers, and they're asking us for ideas, and a bit like Sherry, you sit there going, well, I'm just a guy from Derby really, and you're asking me what rubber you should be developing, and you're the world's biggest rubber manufacturer. You go, yeah, okay, we'll have a go. And that really is a buzz. And to be able to I've taken an intern with me, young Patrick, who's brilliant. And he was having a ball. And you forget how much fun it is negotiating with somebody for 10,000 pairs of socks or whatever it may be. But that whole innovation really is the energy.
No, that's perfect. Because you're right. I'm the same. If I do a day where I'm focusing on the business, I feel like I feel guilty. I feel guilty that you've kind of not contributed, or I've just thought of some crazy ideas, or done a podcast, something like that. But standing still is a huge thing in it as well. And I think Tony Robbins talks a lot about this in terms of if you're standing still, you're probably not surviving.
Well, if you're standing still, you're going backwards.
That's the term I need.
Absolutely going backwards. And certainly now, for those of you who know a bit about who it was the Queen's Award for Innovation, and we are seen as the leaders. So I feel it's a disrespect to not only our customers but the industry we're in if we're not leading it. And yeah, sure, I want to be seen as leading it as well. But you can't stand still. Everyone's going to catch up pretty quickly, especially in this modern age of communication. Anybody could get a wetsuit from AliExpress tomorrow, right, and start a company. I've just got to make sure that whatever we create, you can't buy.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at.
And it's the brand as well, isn't it? There's so much more that comes through from this. And we talked about this on the podcast. If you've not watched Dean's podcast, you do need to watch Dean's podcast.
The bleeps.
With the bleeps. Where was I going? I got distracted by swear words.
AliExpress. No, I don't know. What was it? Rewind brand. Yes, the brand.
The community. It's
Yes.
the community side. It's the fact that you listen. So people ask you and you deliver. And I think that's you listen to your customer.
Yeah, but hasn't the world changed now? Today I was late because I was talking to a consultant from running, and the running world's gone crazy. It's not just about going down Derby and County Athletic Club and going roundy, isn't that my PB? It's the community of doing a park run. Not what park's done for the sport, but also the communities around it. And in Derby, you've got Mile Junkies, and you've got several groups that set up, and it's all around community. Now, for an old 55-year-old who thought MySpace was groundbreaking in the 2000s, that takes some getting used to and understanding that actually the brand is important and the way you represent your brand is important, but it's what you do with it aside of selling stuff. It's how you activate it and your tone and everything that's built with it.
It's important. Questions then?
Fire away.
What's one thing you've learnt or reflected on this year?
This year, I would say it's going back to the operating system. It's been tough knowing my place in my business. And to be able to say to your second in command, well, you just go off and run that and get on with it, because I can be a bit of a control freak on some stuff. But I'll sit in my lane, and my lane is creative and innovation and the marketing direction. But I've enjoyed that. And at night, you do go home. And yeah, I'm concerned about the money, but I've got an amazing FD who just takes care of it. And if there's any flags, he'll just raise the flag. So I kind of breathe easy that I've identified my weakness and I've accepted it. It's hard accepting that you're not good at something, but if you can find it, isolate it, and accept it, those 3:30 a.m.s become a lot less. So that's been the massive thing for me, is knowing, Dean, you're not good at spreadsheets, so just give up. But you're good at that, so do more of it. And my world was back to front. I got so hung up that I had to be good at the things I wasn't good at, because you feel a bit of a failure and you feel you should. And you see these business heroes. But actually, Richard Branson has never flown a plane. He's never cleaned a plane. He's never done the spreadsheets for a plane. And he's front of curtain, and he's the visionaries. So, yeah, that's been my big year, is just sitting comfortable with what I am.
Has everybody heard of EOS Traction by Gino Wickman? There's some nods. It is a fascinating tool. It's incredible, and it's actually being able to put you in the right seat. And get the rest of your team in the right seat as well. So it's a recommended read.
There's a supported book called Rocket Fuel.
Yes.
And the first 2 chapters talk about visionaries and then integrators. And David Lamb, my integrator, if you like, we just looked at each other and went, "Oh, I get you now." And he went, "Yeah, I get you now." And we stopped falling out so much. It's been transformational.
Amazing. So what's one piece of advice, story or inspiration you'd like to leave everyone with as we go into this new year?
Oh God, which one?
Which one? Lots of stories.
Yeah,
I think 2. You always ask for 2.
When I was walking down, I was thinking about the question, and if we were farmers and you're watching Clarkson's farm, you'd be planting your seeds and cracking your thing and seeing when the moisture's right to harvest. I think for me, it's comic relief. You see comic relief in Children in Need challenges. Well, we sponsored a Professor Greg White. It must have been Jensen Button time, so 2014, 11 years ago. And I thought, this is the right thing to do. And there's been the odd year where I've gone, I'm not sure why I'm still working with Greg, because this isn't going on and that's not going on. And then this year comes around and you get the phone call from Greg going, right, I'm doing an event with Sarah Cox. And would you be interested in supporting with some kit? And at that point, you kind of put together going, wow, that's BBC, that could be an hour's coverage. What kind of value do you put on that? So we sent a whole load of kit out to Greg, and then we sent a load to Sarah, but she spent most of her time in a dry robe that wasn't ours. But the opportunity was there, and that also happened with Comic Relief. Comic Relief came on, and they said, we're working with Greg James on a new challenge. Would you work with us as well? And I know that this good fortune and good harvest, if you like, is from seeds that I probably sown 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, that are coming good. And in business, it kind of reminded me that, Sherry's talking wonderfully tonight about the amazing time we had with this young team. There's members of that young team that Sherry took on who are now running bike businesses, and who are now working in the cycling world. There's a young team who had the Who What bike team. I don't know if you remember it. but they weren't allowed to race under Great Britain because there was already a Great Britain team. And so these 4 guys who were living in Normington raced under the People's Republic of Barbados, which was hilarious in its own right. And one of them now, Dan Bigham, he's head of innovation at Red Bull Bora or whatever that team is called now. Another one's at the EV cycling team. You've got another one who's at Ineos. And it's just crazy that the seeds that were sown then, now they may not come back to me, or they may come back to me because they're coming back going, your aerodynamic overshoe is the fastest in the world, but it hasn't got the right brand on it. Can we buy it plain? Those seeds were sown many, many years ago. And when I worked for ASICS, there's people who I gave shoes to in ASICS that will now come back and go, oh, by the way, I'm head of this at New Balance. Do you want to do a collaboration on a cycling collection? You go, wow, that. So, yeah, when I was walking down Sadlergate, it was the good you do now. It doesn't necessarily have to come back immediately.
No.
And it may take time, but it will. And it absolutely will. And if it doesn't, don't stress it.
Good things will come to those.
Yeah.
Well, both who wait, but also I guess it's karma, isn't it? I wrote,
massively
don't be a
karma.
twat, be kind, is my note.
Absolutely. And I've been through the industry, and Sherry definitely would have been through the cycling industry. I mean, so many dickheads and people who just take. But there's a handful out there, and there's not many as the shares that actually you can trust. And at any time you can pick the phone up, you can have that conversation, and they'll give you the right advice when it's needed. Yeah, definitely. It's karma.
And there's definitely something about giving, but giving from a place of heart again, rather than doing it because you've said some incredible things have come out of it, but that's almost not realising what was going to come.
Oh, no. The best bit of advice I got was somebody said to me, well, get a degree in notoriety, probably achieve that one. And give until it hurts. He says, then when it hurts, stop. Okay. But give, because it will come back. And my FD has a hurt threshold lower than mine. But,
I love that. Thank you so much,
Thank
Dean.
you. Brilliant. Thanks for having us again.
Oh, so
how cool does all this look? It looks great, doesn't it?
Beautiful?
Yeah, I can't wait for the food.
A huge clap for Dean.
Right.
Thank you so much. My third guest is Liv Pritchard. No, I'm joking. Is Dr. Philip Clark. So he is one of the most powerful minds I know, and someone who's changed the way many of us think, lead and perform. So Dr. Philip Clark is a senior lecturer, a sport and performance psychologist, and a wizard in helping people to get out of their own way. He's coached elite athletes, Olympians, business leaders, creatives, and yes, even accountants. Not to just perform better, but happier. I've got a little bit more to say. Sorry, Phil. Phil teaches the habits, mindsets, and science behind consistent high performance, and he does it with humility, depth, and the kind of presence that instantly calms a room, if you can understand his Irish tones. He's also the co-creator of LOV Academy with me, helping business owners design a life and business that actually serve them. Welcome.
Wow, thank you. How can I live up to that? A
Easily.
wizard. I've never been called a wizard. So
A wizard? No,
that's,
I quite liked that
interest.
because I do know there's some connection to Harry Potter within the family. Not literally.
Not literally, yeah.
So for those of you who've not met Phil before,
Yeah.
did you want to do a little bit more of an introduction, or have I done an okay job?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, for me, I just love working with performers.
And we've had two incredible performers just before us.
Unbelievable. Across all disciplines, I've been very. I don't like to say lucky, just because I think that takes out the effort that we put into things. I've been very fortunate that I've got to work across so many different high performance domains that when you start to look at the minutiae of it, you're dealing with people. And when you learn to understand the environment and understand the people, that's where you can start to kind of ingrain those habits towards success and get those really. There's nothing better when you get a team in any environment and they're passionate and they're all working and pulling in the same direction. It's a really great environment to be a part of. It's something that you wish you can bottle up. So I love being a part and seeing how the role of the mindset and psychology plays within helping shape that direction and shape that kind of that energy that you feel when you're in a place where everyone's pulling together. Absolutely love it. Absolutely
That's
love
amazing.
it.
And there's something that always stands when I talk to Phil, or I think about this, is teams are naturally dysfunctional. And I think that was an actual really nice thing to reflect on, because we go, well, why is my team not performing, or why have we got this issue? But we're all human.
100%. Like, it's relationships, and I don't want to say relationships are naturally dysfunctional, but it's when you start to realize that when you've got people with different personality traits, different goals, different things that cause them stress, that when you bring everyone together, it's naturally dysfunctional. It's going to bring about dysfunction. So I loved when Dean mentioned about, actually when I was able to put a label on, I understand, you're able to then build a platform to work more effectively together. And I think the best teams in the world, there's a level of intention behind keeping you the best teams in the world. And it doesn't, a lot of people say it's a great chance, I have all these great resources around that have come together, but it takes a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes in creating that environment for that team and that group of people to thrive. So yeah, I think I love that. I constantly go back to it because you start to realize that the moment you lose sight on that, because no, it's working really, really well, and you take your foot off the gas, and that's when things can start to fall off. So yeah, just being really intentional with it.
Amazing. What's one thing then that you've learnt or reflected on this year?
Yeah, that question stumped me. I was thinking about that, and the kind of today. I think for me this year is your health and your energy is more of a choice than you think. So what I mean by that is I think sometimes we can get lost and caught up in the hustle and bustle of work and life, and just kind of going from pillar to post with things that we sometimes, definitely in my industry, I focus so much on supporting others that I can lose sight and support myself. So this year particularly, I've had an unfortunate couple of kind of family members, friends pass away, that you start to go, hold on a minute, what's the aspect around this? And you start to question, like, am I doing the right things? Am I looking after myself well? And this year has been a real focus for me around being intentional with prioritizing my own health, prioritizing my own energy. One of the things I know we've talked about, I struggle with saying no. So my belief is that if anyone asks for help, it's taking a great amount of courage for them to do so. So I kind of owe it to them and to make sure I'm supporting them. And saying no can sometimes feel quite an abrupt, no, I'm not helping you. And I know we talked before that no is a full sentence. So for me, what I've tried to bring in this year has been around, I don't use no. I get no out of my vocabulary and try and use not yet, not now, not me. So even if it means that I'm prioritizing my own health, making sure I'm fueling my body properly, going out training and putting myself first, I don't always have to come at the expense of supporting others. So if someone asks me for help now, I'm a lot more careful in my decision making around, have I got capacity for it right now? So if something comes in, it's like, actually, I look at my calendar, it's not that instinctive yes. I look at my calendar and go, oh, maybe it's not a couple of weeks. So I'll go, not yet, not now. And if they say, actually, I need it right now, I can still support by saying it's not me, and support them by getting in front of the right person or being able to delegate rather than taking all of that on myself. So I've definitely been working less, but working more impactfully and effectively this year, and just really looking after myself, which is my wife is thankful for that.
Who else is really rubbish at looking after themselves and putting themselves first? Yeah, it's a really difficult one, isn't it? And also, who sees a white space in their diary, and then when someone asks for assistance or support, you go, oh yeah, look, I've got that tiny little white space there that I could probably squeeze it into. Anyone else done that, or has that just been me? Thank you. I'm glad there's some nodded heads and hands going up. Yeah. Because it is, isn't it? We all kind of, and I guess as people wanting to support or caring, or business owners or whatever you were in as a performer, you're almost trying to achieve so much, and it's putting that strain on yourself. So the fact you've prioritized that, and
it sounds easy, but it's really hard, because when you get caught up in it, and if you're in that performance space, you want to give everything and you want to go above and beyond. And I'm not saying there won't be times when you need to do that, but it's then knowing that there's got to be a period after for you to recharge, to refuel, and to almost start putting, if you almost imagine it's like an energy bank. If I'm withdrawing from it all the time, it's suddenly going to go quite dry, that I need to focus on also putting back in and reinvesting that income.
Using your phone whilst it's still on charge doesn't help charge it.
Yes, exactly.
What's one piece of advice then, a story or inspiration you'd like to leave everyone with?
Yeah, really good.
Tonight?
I think something for me, I've been fortunate to work with a lot of performers, not just over this year, but across my career span, and just with obviously the Olympics last year. and supporting a couple of athletes. There is a message I try and listen to myself more, and it's something I'm going to try and be more intentional with, is happiness is not an outcome. So we often would say, I'll be happy when, or when this happens, it'll be good, or once we get here. I'm not saying that don't have those goals or those aspirations. That would be great if we achieve this, but sometimes we put all the emphasis on the end goal, and then we get there and we feel flat. So it's trying to understand that, yes, we can have that goal to strive towards, but actually happiness is part of the process. So can I find those moments of joy that when I'm going through the struggle, when I'm going through, maybe it is the fun bit of the climb, maybe it's the down bit, or maybe it's the flat bit of the roller coaster that's not as exciting, that can I stop and appreciate the moment that I'm in and take whatever form of joy in it, because it will pass you by, and it's then at the end you're actually able to look back with more, I guess, more honesty of, actually, you know what, it wasn't that bad, it was okay, and it doesn't have to just be that end goal great feeling that you get from it. And don't get me wrong, that's nice, but you're not always going to get that. We've no real control over that outcome, and oftentimes it's a lot of hard work, timing and all of that goes into it. So if you can find a way of finding the joy in the process, it makes the journey a hell of a lot more fun to go on.
It's like when you see, and I know this is a really trivial example, so apologies, but when you see messy pots and you don't want to wash them, I guess you've got messy pots, you've just fed your family, you've just had a nice meal. There's those tiny moments, isn't there, of actually going, can I search for the gratitude in this moment, which might feel difficult sometimes.
And really search for it. Like, it's sometimes really hard to find it. I think once you move past the trivial stuff, so there's a really good activity where they talk about the 3 good things. And I challenge a lot of people, I even challenge myself sometimes to do it, where if you do it over a 21-day period where you have to find 3 good things every day, but every day it has to be something different.
I like that.
So you then start to have to take a moment and stop and see, actually, is there something valuable that I possibly overlooked by going so quickly through things?
There you go. Before Christmas, everybody, 3 things every day.
3 good things.
I'd love it if you. That'd be a lovely Christmas present if you all sent me what your 3. Well, you don't even need to say what your 3 things were every day, but the fact that you'd done that'd be.
Yeah, definitely. I remember one of mine was a big day of work, and I turned around in my office and there was a cup of tea on the floor that my wife had put in, and I could have very easily went, because it was straight into meetings, picked it up and not said anything, but I made sure straight after to send her a message going, I'm really appreciative of that. Like. So it's those little small things, those moments that pass you by, you suddenly go, no, I'm really, really chuffed at that.
That's amazing.
Cheers.
Enjoy the journey.
Yes, definitely enjoy it, because, you've got one life, one journey, so you may as well do it with a smile on your face.
Love that. Thank you so much. Can everybody help me thank Phil with a round of applause?
Thanks very much.
Jamie, can you come and help me wrap it up? I'm sure I've seen you somewhere. I'm sure you all know Jamie well, so he's one of the most purposeful and community-driven entrepreneurs in our region. Jamie is the founder here of Down to Earth Derby, and he's the creative force of what this project is, Electric Daisy. There's a couple of organisations where he's working on city through nature, creativity and connection. Gosh, you have an extraordinary ability to turn ideas into movements, don't you?
Yeah, just made sure I get here in time for that.
Whether it's rewilding, placemaking, creating experiences that bring people together, you definitely lead with heart and vision, and a belief that communities deserve beauty, belonging and hope. Does that sum it up?
That's probably the best CV someone's written for me, actually.
Ah,
I'll take that.
I'll send it to you after.
Yeah.
And it's on video.
Go on my bio, that can.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one. Thanks for that, mate. Sorry, the staff were just asking me, just at whilst I was before, they were asking me, when can we have a Christmas party?
Oh.
So we had to have a bit of negotiation there, so that's why I was a bit delayed.
You couldn't finish
and
the
now you've
conversation.
given me time to actually think about what to say to
There
them
you
now,
go. You could do that after. That's a really great way. So what was the question that you were asking me? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting this. What it's an amazing event this is. I can't wait when the weather changes. I mean, I love it when it's festive, but spring, summer, doing this and the conversations, like, just listening to what everybody else is saying and being so open and honest, it's just really nice, isn't it?
It's what we need, isn't it?
Definitely. 100%,
it is that connection.
100%.
So in the spirit of slowing down and reflecting, what's the one thing you've learned or reflected on this year?
That is very important, to slow down. And We are, believe it or not, animals on this planet, and we're mammals. And what we're supposed to do as mammals at this time of the year is actually supposed to slow down.
Yeah, why don't we this time of year?
We don't. And what we do instead, we speed up to get to the end of the year. And that's when we get burnouts and, you know, colds, and everyone's run down and can't wait to finish the year. I don't know if you remember, I was actually thinking about this when I was getting the fires going. But when we first met, it was here. There was an event, and it was the first year. It was the first November Electric Daisy was up and running.
Oh, wow.
And I was absolutely battered, like chest infection, worn out. We were in a position where, to be honest, we didn't know if Electric Daisy was going to survive past Christmas. And I had to run an event, and I ran that event, you were there, and I ran this event by myself. And I was like in the bar, trying to sort the bar out and trying to sort all the bits and pieces and get the fires going. And I just had a mad chest infection. I just thought, I don't know why the fuck I'm doing this. I was like, what's the point in this? Like, what is the point in feeling this bad and doing all this? And then the next day, I had a train to London to meet the potential funders who were going to support us develop Electric Daisy further. And I went and I had this meeting, I had this interview, and it was with one of the directors of the company, with the whole board, and it was only a 10-minute interview. And I went for dinner with him after, and he says, we're going to give you the funding, but we're not only going to give you the funding to help you for next year, we're going to give you another bit of money as well. And after that I was like, oh my God, like, you know, that relief. But the two parts why I say that is, you know, kind of echoing what others have said about go till you don't have anything left, but also know where it is when you don't have any left. And you know, there's you reap the rewards from doing that, but also it's making sure that you have that balance to look after yourself.
Oh, it's so important, isn't it? Because if you burn out, we've all heard the phrase, you can't pour from an empty cup. And it is, as Phil was just saying, in terms of being able to realise when you've got to take stock and you've got to recharge and you've got to get those batteries back up. And as business owners, I think we're really guilty of it, because no one's, especially in the early days, like you were just saying, so you're going from the bar to the, you know, you're doing every job, you're cleaning toilets one second and then you're delivering something, and then you're doing a lead pitch or what have you, and you end up feeling like if you don't do it, it's not going to get done, and it has to. And it's actually being able to step out of that, isn't it, and go, right, what do I actually need to do, what do I need to focus on?
There was an amazing book that I've read this year, or listened to, whatever, The One Thing. Can't remember who the author is. I don't know if you've heard about it. It is an incredible book, because it just changes your perception on what's actually important to you right now. I'm a sucker for a to-do list. I love it. I'll spend my time
writing a to-do list
and
then ticking it off.
And then I'll go, right, I've wrote my to-do list. Now I'll organise my to-do list. And then I'm like, right, there's 3 hours just gone. I've not actually done anything. But what I've learned is, write your to-do list out and actually figure out what's really important in that to-do list to you to elevate the business. What's there, what priorities are there to elevate your business and aligns with the mission of what you're trying to achieve, which is more important than elevating the business, is that on mission. Yeah. And that's been really helpful for me for focusing this year. Really helpful for like understanding what I want to do. Like many of us, me and you are definitely birds of a feather here. We have 1,000,001 ideas, and we want to do them all at the same time as quick as possible. And I've learned, you know, from that prioritising kind of side of things, is actually what's the best thing for me to concentrate on.
EOS is great for that as well, because it's your rocks, it's what you do in that quarter, it's that focus, it's that is it aligned with where we were going?
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. What's one piece then of advice, a story or inspiration you'd like to leave everyone with tonight?
I think because we're here and you can see this site and you can see, you know, you're going to taste this amazing food that Holly's done for us, and this kind of event, and where we've come from. We've literally come from nothing on this site, and we literally started with nothing. You know, this whole thing started in my back garden, essentially, this whole idea. and it's got here in Derby, and it's some sheds, it's some planters, you know, and it's a shipping container bar. And like this year, this idea that we've had from way back when has got to the point where it got on Gardener's World, which, you know, from Gardener's World led to us being involved with the RHS on a really, really significant level, to the point that now we're now looking at bringing some serious stakeholders together to support with the development of this place to go further. So I think, like, for me, you know, that full circle, I've always wanted to be on Gardener's World. I've always wanted to meet Monty, a little chat with Monty. I've always wanted to do something like that, and I completely forgot about it. And then I sat down and I had an interview with Gardener's World, and we sat down and we kind of, they basically said, we've been following your journey all the way from the beginning, from your allotment, and they were like, we've wanted to do a story on this for so long, and we've found a chance to do it. And they kind of knew the whole story. And the interview, it was really great for me, because it was a moment for me to just sit back and actually go, oh my God, like, look at where we've come. And yeah, so basically for me, that kind of, it took us to this RHS thing, and then meeting people, you know, at Westminster are talking about how they know about Electric Daisy, and, you know, Baggy, our MP's there, and he's kind of come out of a meeting to come there, and he's hearing about us being involved in this kind of big report. And you know, it proved to me that you have got to put your grit in. You've got to really go for it. You've got to go, you know, like Dino said earlier, like, you've got to go till it hurts. You've got to give till it hurts, and you've got to just keep on going. And for me, we've never come away from that mission of what we're trying to achieve here. That's what it's about, and that's what's really important for me.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think wrapping that up, there's clearly been a summary of nothing's impossible, sticking to guns, striving with that vision and mission behind you, enjoying the journey as we're going through, being kind, and not standing still. Thank you so much, everybody. I think food we've run very late, so apologies. So yes, we'll be having some food now. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.